Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk a little bit today on Friday about a fragrance that I'm trying out. It's the new Chanel Les Exclusives fragrance called Boy. And I was lucky enough to get a couple of decent sized samples of, I think this is the Eau de Parfum, yes, the Eau de Parfum, as well as having a good old spray of it when I was buying my Chanel items from the summer collection the other week. And so my first impressions were in the shop of this fragrance, and I've been quite excited to try it because it's being marketed. Well, I say marketed, I haven't seen any visuals of it with any of the models. I'd kind of read promotional stuff from when its launch was announced, certainly in the UK earlier this year. I'm going to say kind of March, April, in the spring sometime. I certainly read a few articles saying that this new fragrance was coming out. It's by Olivier Polge, so son of the more famous, and it's his second fragrance for Chanel. And it's called after Arthur Boy Chappelle, who was one of Chanel's lovers, very influential one. Perhaps not all to the good, certainly politically, but influential, it's said, in terms of some of her fashion ideas, which certainly at the time were considered quite masculine. You know, her love of tailoring and I wouldn't say unisex because I think we actually think of Chanel's clothes now as quite feminine, but certainly slightly more androgynous, playing into the ideas of freedom for women to feel comfortable and not constricted in their clothes. So he was influential from that point of view, it is said. Anyway, this fragrance, I believe, is marketed, and here's a word I hadn't really come across recently, as a floral fougere. And that is a floral, really for men, as I understand it, in the actually quite English tradition of men's fragrances. So I was excited to try this. Obviously, Les Exclusives, I suspect, are bought very much predominantly by women. I don't perceive the range as being that attractive to men in the way that Tom Ford has very successfully marketed his exclusive fragrance range to both men and women. I get the impression, fairly even Stevens. I know a lot of men who wear the Tom Ford range. I don't think I know of any men who wear the Chanel exclusives. They might wear Chanel aftershaves, but there we go. Anyway, so back to the fragrance instead of waffling on. I tried it on, as I say, in the shop, and the very nice sales assistant kind of gave me a hand massage with the Exclusives cream, which she said would make the fragrance last better on me. And I don't know whether, in fact, it changed the fragrance on me, because I have to say, when I wore it in the shop, I was not overwhelmed by this at all. It felt definitely masculine, but in a slightly musty way. Not something I would have been attracted either to wear myself or particularly on a man. I have to say, now that I've worn it myself, I've definitely got different notes on it on me on different days. It's one of those that doesn't seem to react consistently with my skin. Now, the notes are said to be lavender, rose, lemon, grapefruit, geranium, orange blossom, sandalwood, vanilla, heliotrope, and musk. So a good few there that I would normally like. I'm not always a fan of rose, and I'm not a fan of musk frequently. But the others, it's all down to the mix. And that first wear, it definitely felt a bit musty and a bit soapy at the same time to me, which felt like the vanilla and the musk was not reacting well. I definitely got lemon, and the assistant in the shop said there wasn't a lemon note in it. Well, when I've kind of looked it up online, there definitely is, and I got that. You can get lavender, but definitely not as strong as in Jersey, which is a Chanel fragrance that definitely has a strong lavender note in. But sniffing it from the bottle, I think the lavender is quite strong and slightly acidic. On my skin, certainly on some occasions, I haven't smelt that nearly as much. And I definitely get slightly more of the citrus. Definitely getting the citrus now as I'm smelling it, with the geranium and the lavender. So it's coming across now as I smell it, initially in the first few minutes, as a kind of citrusy, woody cologne. When it dries down, you definitely get, or I definitely get, a bit more sandalwood. You get the geranium, and yeah, a much more interesting, slightly complex fragrance. Not a huge silage on this. Nobody has yet commented to me on me wearing it. I've been wearing it all week. And that may be because it's quite difficult to get a lot of it on from this little bottle in the way that I would spray it on. It may be because people hate it, because I think people tend not to comment if they don't like it. You tend to get positive comments. I don't know. And as I say, there's something about it that reminds me of a masculine fragrance, and I can't put my finger on which one it is. It's definitely growing on me, and that's really interesting because Misia, which is also Olivier Polge, his first creation for Chanel, grew on me. I really, really didn't like it. Well, I didn't hate it, but I felt it wasn't for me the first time. The first few times, actually, I had a bottle and I sold it. And then I smelt it later on and decided I like it, and I now have a bottle, and I wore it quite a lot last winter and enjoyed it. So definitely one of those that grew on me, and I'm having that feeling with Boy at the moment, but of course it's early days. So I do advise you, if you get the chance, to go and have a sniff. Les Exclusives range, certainly in the UK, is becoming more widely available. It's not just in the boutiques, it's in the higher end department stores that carry Chanel fragrances. You can get samples, smaller ones than this, the spray ones, on eBay. I think that's a good idea. It's worth spending, 5 or 10 or whatever to get a sample that's going to allow you to have a decent couple of sprays of it, because you've really got to see how it works on you and with your lifestyle. But it's an interesting one, so I'm pleased about that, and I'm looking forward to the new reinterpretation. It's not a reformulation of classic number 5, let me make that clear, because a couple of people commented. It's a reinterpretation, a bit like Eau Premiere. I think it's just going to be called Low number 5, which is due, I think, in August here in the UK. And also a number of Les Exclusives are coming out in the perfumes, which will be hideously expensive, but hopefully will get beyond the silage problems. Can I mention 2 things while we're on the topic of Chanel? Here is Cavalier with the gel top coat as recommended. This was applied on Wednesday afternoon. It's Friday afternoon, and you can see good old tip wear. So the Chanel top coat hasn't fixed it for me. I have to say I do quite like the top coat, notwithstanding the fact it hasn't fixed it. It does give a nice shine, And interestingly, in comparison with the Dior gel top coat, which is what I've used up till now, it doesn't kind of pull away at the edges, which I find with the Dior one, which is a tad thicker. But I still have my issues overall with the formula of the actual colours. They're really, really thick. I mean, I applied this myself and it was really hard work. Unfortunately, one coat wasn't opaque enough, but two was really tacky. You know, I'm puzzled because so many people love these, find they're working for them longer. I'm doing exactly the same as I've always done, and they are not improving on the old classic formulations, and in some ways they're worse. I'm going to give it, one further try. Well, I mean, and I'm not going to throw away the ones that I've got. I'm going to get my professional manicurist tomorrow, Saturday morning, to apply Emerald with the base and top coat, and let's see if that does any better. But at the moment, it's not working for me. What is working for me is the gorgeous Empreinte du Désert. I'm going to be talking about this for sure in favourites. I've worn this non-stop this week, and these browns in particular are just gorgeous and really, really long-lasting. They make a really beautiful summer eye. The green too, it doesn't show enormously green on me. It's more a kind of pretty grey, if that sounds awful, but it's not. It's really nice. But I'm particularly loving the browns. I have a love-hate is putting it a bit high, a kind of neutral position normally on the Chanel quads. I tend to buy them and then give them away or sell them if I don't use them very much. I literally, probably have 2 or 3 that I've kept over the years and worn, more than one season. I definitely think this is going to be one that's going to fall into that because so far, really, really loving it. But more of that in my favourites. So until next time, enjoy the weekend and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.